North Korea, Fat Thursday, and Alaska are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is February 16th, 2023. It is the 47th day of the year. You got 318 days left. It is the 7th Thursday in the 7th week of 2023 and the 58th day of winter. Almost 2 months into this. Got 32 days left until spring. I'm gonna miss winter. I like winter. I'm just that type of dude. Cold weather, occasional snow, gray skies. That's my sweet spot. Fall, I like fall also. Spring's okay. I haven't liked summer since I was, 160 pounds. If you're a chubby guy like me, you know hot weather is not chubby guy weather. I find it hard to explain myself properly in hot weather. I always have that look on my face like I'm trying to remember the lyrics of a song. You know, head tilted up slightly, mouth open, eyes pointed up and to the right. But if today is your birthday, you're still an Aquarius and your birthstone is still an amethyst. Speaking of being chubby, today is Fat Thursday. Fat Thursday takes place on the Thursday before Ash Wednesday in February, right before the 40-day period of Lent, and will be celebrated this year on February 16th, today. And yes, it's exactly what you think it is. It is a time to indulge. Have a Cinnabon and a 64-ounce Clamato. Just kidding, that sounds disgusting. As the lean season of Lent draws near, food becomes central to many people's thoughts. There's nothing like a fast to get you thinking about food. If you don't know, this is a Catholic religion thing, and Lent is before Easter, and you're supposed to give something up for 40 days, and you're supposed to fast on certain... a lot of it's been watered down over the decades, but when I was a kid at a Catholic school, we had to stand up in front of the whole class and tell them what we're giving up for Lent. I think I was in 7th grade when I stood up in front of the class and told them I was giving up the Catholic religion. Oh yes, that got my mom down to the school with a quick phone call. And I think that might have been why the nuns sent a letter to the Catholic high school that I was supposed to be going to and told them that I wasn't Bishop Montgomery material. So I ended up in public school for high school, which honestly, I think I want to go back and thank those nuns. Now, what's interesting about this is it has to do with donuts. This whole holiday started in Poland, and Fat Thursday is about stuffing your face with Polish donuts and a few other treats. Now, the exact origin of how this holiday came to be founded is unknown. The Polish tradition of consuming donuts is very much known, and it dates back as far as the 1500s. But yeah, in a nutshell, Fat Thursday is your last hurrah before you're supposed to start watching what you eat for Lent. And if you're Catholic, you will not eat meat or consume alcohol during this period, as the idea is to give up something that one loves. All right, let's see what else February 16th has given us. 1900, the Southern Cross Expeditions achieves a new farthest south of 78 degrees, making it the first landing on the Great Ice Barrier. This is also known as the Ross Ice Shelf, and it's in the Antarctic. 1937, Wallace H. Carothers receives a United States patent for nylon. 1945, the Alaska Equal Rights Act of 1945 goes down. This is the first anti-discrimination law in the United States, and it was signed into law on this day in 1945. 1960, the U.S. Navy submarine USS Triton begins Operation Sandblast, setting sail from New London, Connecticut to begin the first submerged circumnavigation of the globe. Now, this was an interesting thing. First of all, there's a lot of conspiracies that go along with this, like anything. In early February of 1960, the mission was disclosed to the officers of the Triton. The crew was pretty much in the dark. They just thought they were leaving Connecticut and heading to Europe, and that's the story they went with. Now, I did see some things where they said that this mission started on the 24th of February 1960, but that's actually the day they revealed to the crew what they were doing. They had left New London, Connecticut on the 16th of February after about 2 weeks of preparation and storing more food than they would need for just about anything. So the crew was a little suspicious about what was going on. The mission was to circumnavigate the globe following the same route that Magellan had done it, just underwater the entire time. Now in the 1960s, the technology we had for submarines, this was quite a feat. These days they could probably do it twice and not break a sweat. So they had been at sea and underwater for 8 days before the crew finally found out what they were doing. They stayed submerged the entire time, only coming up to periscope depth to take some pictures occasionally. The reason for this mission was to provide high-profile public demonstration of the capabilities of the U.S. Navy's nuclear-powered submarines, and to show that it could carry out long-range submerged operations independent of external support and undetected by hostile forces. Basically, we were trying to give the Russians a scare. Besides that, it was collecting all kinds of scientific data like geophysical, hydrographic, oceanographic, and psychological data. They got back a few days early on April 25th. They weren't supposed to get back till May 1st. They were supposed to have all kinds of fanfare, and it was supposed to be a big deal, but something happened. The U-2 spy plane, piloted by Gary Powers, was shot down. As you can imagine, that took up all the news for months to come, and probably years. 1968, in Haleyville, Alabama, the first 911 emergency telephone system goes into service. 1978, the first computer bulletin board system is created, CBBS in Chicago. If you don't know what that is, this is like the early days of the internet, and it was kind of what Twitter and Facebook and all that is now. It was just a thing where you could just post random things on there. Eventually, they came up with themed bulletin boards, but originally it was a way to communicate over the internet and post things, articles, thoughts, whatever, sort of like Twitter is today. Reddit these days really reminds me of bulletin boards. Movies released on February 16th, 1996, Mr. Wrong. A woman thinks she found Mr. Right until she sees his dark side and cannot break up with him. The film only grossed a little over $12 million on a $19 million budget, making it a box office bomb. It was actually pretty good. It starred Ellen DeGeneres, Bill Pullman, Hope Davis, Dean Stockwell, Joan Cusack, and Brad William Henke, who just passed away, sadly. I liked him. Anyway, Ellen DeGeneres is a single woman, and she's straight, which was quite a stretch for her, and she meets Bill Pullman and thinks he's Mr. Wonderful, and she kind of realizes he's acting a little fake and putting on a show for her, and she sits him down and goes, "Look, I like you, just be yourself." And he's like, "That is so refreshing. I'm glad you said that." And then he just turns into a total nut job. She's like a successful, educated woman, and she finds out that he likes to go into liquor stores and steal alcohol, even though he's rich. He's a bit of a racist, and he's got a crazy stalker ex-girlfriend that's trying to kill her. It's actually a pretty funny movie. Don't go out of your way to see it, but if it's on HBO or something or Netflix, I think it's worth it. Born on February 16, 1941, Kim Jong-il, supreme leader of North Korea from 1994 to 2011. He was the center of an elaborate cult of personality that was established by his father. He led one of the world's most repressive and tyrannical regimes, and the number of people that have died or have been jailed due to his policies is still unknown. You know something's wrong when you demand being referred to as dear leader. Upon his death, he was succeeded as supreme leader by his son, Kim Jong-un, who has a daughter and outlawed anyone naming their children the same as his daughter. That's not weird at all. Died on February 16, 2015, Leslie Gore, pop singer who soared to #1 with her Grammy Award-nominated song, It's My Party, in 1963. She grew up in a household of musical talent, as her brother won an Oscar for his theme song to Fame. In 2004, she began hosting In the Life, which focused on LGBT issues. A year later, she came out as a lesbian. Here's a fun fact. Her hit single, It's My Party, was produced by Quincy Jones. Gore had been working on a memoir of her life for a Broadway show when she died of lung cancer on February 16, 2015. She was only 68 years old. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.